Comes veteran Mark Brunell for the Jaguars. Brunell, who has thrown the ball well again this season, despite the fact he's been sacked more than any quarterback in the league. He's gone down 53 times. Contrast that with the 16 times that the Bears' Jim Miller has been sacked. He said 16. That happened to me in just 2 games. But he's deadly with that left arm throw, and he's got the great wideouts Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell. They're the best tandem in the league the last 6 years. From the 34, Stacey Mack, the running back where Brunell comes out firing and throws to Patrick Washington, the blocking back, only his 5th catch of the season, a gain of about 4. Tony Parrish made the tackle. Here are the starters for the Jaguars up front. Todd Fordham in the spot occupied by Tony Baselli in past years. Meester, Smith, Wiegert, and the rookie from Michigan, Mo Williams. In the backfield, Mack, 3 consecutive 100-yard rushing games. Washington, you just saw him. Smith and McCardell, the wideouts, and Kyle Brady, the veteran tight end. The give is to Stacey Mack. Swings outside, breaks a tackle at the 45, and skips out of bounds at the 46 with a Jaguar first down. Philip Daniels makes the play defensively, and here are the Bears up front. Robinson, the big guys in the middle, Washington and Traylor. They've really been a great addition, and Daniels at the other end. Linebackers young, active, they strike quickly, and Urlacher leads them going to the Pro Bowl. Azuma and McQuarters are at the corners, and Brown, the miracle maker this year, and Parrish are the safeties. McCardell in motion on first down, and it's to Elvis Joseph, and Joseph near midfield as he stacked up. The drive defensively led by Urlacher in his 2nd season out of the University of New Mexico. Tom Coughlin, he said this has been the most difficult season he's ever experienced as a coach. The combination of all the inordinate number of injuries to key players, as well as salary cap problems that stare him in the face for next year. It has not been a pleasant season for the Jaguar head mentor, but from all reports, he is going to sign a new contract and stay right where he is in Jacksonville. On second down, Brunell reloads, throws underneath, complete to Jimmy Smith at the Bears' 45-yard line. Just shy of a first down, brings up 3rd and 1. Dick Duran. Many felt that had he not had such a successful season, it could have been his last. He was under pressure in his 3rd season to produce a winner. He's done all of that. Former defensive coordinator under Coughlin, and they're close friends. 3rd down and 1. The Bears, the stingiest defense in the NFL. And this is where they've been tough all year, denying 3rd downs. Mack runs into a blue wall, navy blue and orange. No gain. Greg Jones, an extra linebacker out of Colorado, leading the charge. The MO is don't make a mistake, not spectacular numbers, but he's got his Bears in a great position, and he rolls and throws and completes to Dwayne Bates, who played his best game of the year last year. 4 catches and a touchdown against Detroit after having only 1 reception all season. Here's a talented young offensive line, Brockermeyer, Tucker. Kreutz goes to the Pro Bowl. Valerial and Williams also, the big cat, goes to the Pro Bowl. Thomas the starters, Shelton the blocker, Bates and Booker the wideouts, and Baxter the tight end. Gain of 8 on first down. They start in a bunch formation to the right with Anthony Thomas taking the toss, hitting the backfield, and down at the 14-yard line is Tony Brackens. The number 90 out of the University of Texas charges in with a hit. Wynn, Walker, Payne, and there's Brackens. He has 11 sacks, 8 games in a row with a sack. The linebackers led by Hardy Nickerson, the veteran with over 200 tackles. Clark and Thomas in a rebuilt outside linebacking core. Injuries. Both starting cornerbacks out also with injuries, so Thomas and Kraft take over there with Battles and Darius at safety. Tony Brackens lined up at times against his former teammate Brockermeyer at Texas. On 3rd down, the give to Thomas, and he's crunched again. No, it's Leon Johnson who comes in at running back, and Seth Payne and Tony Brackens here since moving from Wrigley Field. First down, Jacksonville at the Chicago 36-yard line, and Brunell goes underneath, complete to McCardell, tackled immediately at the 30-yard line. as Mike Green and Jerry Azuma there to make the stop. And let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, the Jags' Jimmy Smith is 11 catches short of his career high of 116 back in 1999. And I asked Coach Tom Coughlin, you can try to get Jimmy the ball more since you're out of playoff contention. He says, when you look at it, Jimmy's always a part of our passing attack, so I don't even need to do that.
All right, thanks, Bonnie. They gave us to Mack, and Mack kicks out of one tackle, but then is ridden out of bounds by Warwick Holdman, number 53. Holdman, Colvin, and Urlacher, they've all been in the league only 3 years or less. They all run the field well, led by Urlacher, who has 4.5 speed. In fact, his coach, Dick Sharon, said he is the fastest middle linebacker I've ever seen, and that covers 30 years.
Yes, and Dick, quite a player himself. And yes, when Dick Sharon would say something like that, there's a great deal of credibility that comes along with a statement like that.
3rd down and 3, 5 defensive backs. Stacey Mack behind Brunell, 3 wideouts. McCardell in motion. Good protection. Wide open McCardell. Skids around the tackler and picks up another couple yards at the 19. Jerry Azuma, the defender.
Well, the Chicago Bears defensively are really tough against the run, but they're 29th in the NFL against the pass. And that's where this matchup really favors the Jaguars from Jacksonville, because this is a very prolific passing game. The offensive line is suspect. Somehow the Bears are going to have to get pressure on Mark Brunell and hopefully do it without blitzing. If they don't, he'll pick them apart.
On 1st down from the 19, Brunell looking underneath the throw short as McCardell, the closest white jersey to the ball.
I think somebody deflected that ball at the line. Either that or it came out of Mark's hand. Awfully funny. Let's see if somebody hits this at the line of scrimmage. Oh, yeah, you can see that Brian Robinson was way up in here. That looked like he climbed up a ladder and stayed there. That guy elevated and didn't come down.
He's big for a defensive end at 6'4" and 295 out of Fresno State. 2nd and 10. Brunell could run and will. Gets a block from Brady, the tight end, and steps out of bounds at the 14-yard line. 5 on the play.
Well, I guess he got a block from Brady. Brady just drops Philip Daniels, number 93, the defensive end to that side, that allows Brunell to get outside. Another 6 or 7 yards. Look at it right there. You can see Daniels going right down on his back. This is some hit from Kyle Brady. Right there. That's the way you catch a guy not looking.
Jacksonville, 3rd down, and a long 4. Shotgun for Brunell. And the handoff inside goes to Elvis Joseph. Joseph, the rookie from Southern. Jaguar as a collegiate, a Jaguar in the NFL. And he is going to be shy of the 1st down.
Well, you love to hit a quick hitter like this against the blitz. And the Bears came with the blitz, and boy, did they have the right play called. If it wasn't for being tripped up right around the ankles, there's a chance that this one might have gone.
Well, the yardsticks had moved prematurely. That is a 1st down at the 8-yard line. 1st and goal.
Greg Blosch, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, he's got to get creative here inside his own 10.
Jacksonville trying to strike here in the 1st quarter. Mack, the lone running back. Brunell changing the play and the formation.
You better change it in a hurry. He's down to 2 seconds.
Looks, throws, incomplete. McCardell was open. The ball a little behind him.
Oh, but that should have been a touchdown. That ball, it was a little behind him, and I mean a little behind him. You can see, well, that's a wide open. Yeah, it certainly. But you know, the receiver has the right to run to the inside. He's actually being held up by the defender. That's a perfectly legal play. That should have been a touchdown for the Jaguars.
Bears have allowed just one passing touchdown in the last 7 games. Stacey Mack out as a flanker left. Brunell shotgun on 2nd and goal. Underneath, incomplete. That was McCardell again, and closest to the ball was Jerry Azuma, the defensive back, who's starting today with Walt Harris sidelined with an ankle injury.
And again, McCardell gets held up at the line of scrimmage. He's right there in the slot. You know, that little stutter step, and then he kind of flattened out his route. It's apparent Mark Brunell thought he was going to go vertical and keep running right towards the end zone. McCardell went parallel, And that's twice now that Mark Brunell has thought he's had a touchdown pass to Keenan McCardell.
Crowd rises as one here on 3rd and goal from the 8. Under pressure. And there's sack number 54, absorbed by Mark Brunell as Boone and Colvin collaborate at the quarterback.
Well, as a team, Dick, that's number 60. Because backup quarterback Jonathan Quinn has been tackled a couple times behind the line. The 60th sack allowed by this Jaguar offensive team. Excellent penetration, and here is Williams coming in right here. He gets about a yard up and then gets that big hand up in the air. And boy, when you consider that McCardell dropped a touchdown pass, the Bears come away looking great.
That's an eligible lateral pass, and then the throw by Booker to David Terrell is incomplete. The rookie from Michigan streaking downfield, and Donovan Darius covering for Jacksonville as Booker, who was a high school quarterback in Louisiana, fired about a 55-yard pass.
Yeah, you can see from Miller, it's a backward pass over here to Booker. It's thrown a good 2 or 3 yards behind him, and he goes back for it. But Jacksonville didn't bite for it. You got to give Jacksonville credit. Rather than coming up and streaking up to cover the run, they had a corner and a safety that stayed back and made it a tough throw for Booker.
On 2nd down, it's to the A train, and he has close to a 1st down out across the 45-yard line. No score here in Chicago. Jim Nance with this update.
All right, Dick, a couple of key ones. First, the New England Patriots playing at the Panthers. Here, Ty Law picks off Winky. He runs it back for a 10-0 lead, New England. And over at the Meadowlands, Green Bay 14-0 over the Giants. Amon Green scores from 25 yards out. I know the Bears are watching this one closely. Let's go back to you, Dick and Dan.
All right, thank you, Jim. That's and the St. Louis Rams and their fans certainly interested in this game as well as they play later against Atlanta. A-Train with the 1st down at the 46-yard line of Chicago.
Well, the Rams, as good as their record is, they can hardly believe that the pressure has been kept on them by the Chicago Bears. That the Bears could come out of today, as hard as it is to believe, with the home field advantage all the way through the playoffs. And I don't think visiting teams can count on the weather being this nice through the rest of this month here at Soldier Field.
And this is actually a good weather day for football in Chicago any time of the year, as Anthony Thomas again with a handoff on a gain of 1 or 2. Marcus Stroud, the rookie from Georgia, 322 pounds there to make the stop. A reminder to log on to NFL.com and see why Phil Simms says there's no such thing as backing into the playoffs. If you're in, you're in. Check it out, NFL.com or America Online, keyword NFL.com.
No, but there is such a thing as entering the playoffs playing well, or entering the playoffs on a bit of a downer, and there is a difference in that respect.
And that's where the Raiders sit right now.
Exactly
they need to win to wipe out some disappointing games here of late. Underneath, and the throw is complete to Dwayne Bates, and he has a 1st down, fumble the ball, and Jacksonville says they have it. Was he down? And the official is saying yes, the ball was dead before the fumble.
Right here.
Ainsley Battles and Donovan Darius, the 2 safeties there, to make the tackle of Bates.
Well, just right out of the flanker position, just a quick in pattern, a perfect throw from Miller. Triple team, the ball came loose. At least from that angle, it looked like, well, this will be definitive, I think. Yes, and his knee was definitely down before the ball came out. Not that you could go back with replay anyway, but it appears to be a very good call by the officiating crew.
And a 1st down at the 33 as Bates replacing the injured Des White and contributing the last couple of weeks. Played at Northwestern, just up the road in Evanston. Jim Miller, 3 wide receivers, and the toss to Thomas, and he's hit in the backfield. Charging in, Ainsley Battles, the 2nd-year safety from Vanderbilt.
Well, when you've got corner support, this is the way you do it. You get upfield, you put your shoulder into the lead blocker, just like that. Look at Battles as he goes right through Dwayne Bates, continues upfield and makes the play. That is textbook on how it's supposed to be done by corner force.
One of the many undrafted players on this Jacksonville roster. They're not only young, but many of them weren't even selected in the draft, as Tom Coughlin's had to rebuild with an enormous number of injuries this year. Miller into the flat and complete. to his fullback Shelton, and Shelton bounced out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Damon Shelton, his uncle was quite a basketball player. Lonnie played at Oregon State and in the NBA, and that is his 12th catch of the year. He's not carried the ball a single time.
We've really got an excellent matchup this afternoon, Dick, here between this offensive line of the Bears and the front four of Jacksonville. One of the best in the league at protecting the quarterback, and I think the front four of Jacksonville, one of the very best in the league at getting after the quarterback. It is a very good pass rushing front four for Jacksonville. This is a nice matchup today.
3rd down and 6 at the 29. Shotgun Miller, and he's going toward the end zone for Bates. Incomplete. Checked by Kiwaki Thomas, number 41, the corner. The toughest to score against. Stacey Mack, no gain. Rosie Colvin, the third-year backer from Purdue. A reminder, coming Tuesday, January 15th on CBS, the creator of Jag brings you a new drama. It dares to take you inside the Supreme Court. Joe Mantegna, James Garner star in First Monday. Don't miss the series premiere Tuesday, January 15th on CBS. Loss of about a half-yard on the carry by Mack, so Brunell shifts back into the shotgun with Elvis Joseph at his side. Rosie Colvin with a sack. He has 10.5 this year to lead the Bears.
Oh, and he just really puts one on left tackle Todd Fordham. Watch him here at the bottom of your screen, upfield, and then throws him out of the way, goes back to the inside, and Mark Brunell's got nowhere to go. And Colvin, that's his 10.5 sack on the year. And keep in mind, this is not a very big guy. 6'3", 254 pounds, but you can see he's got a lot of moves. Felt the tackle was off balance, caught him moving the wrong way and threw him out of the way.
So 3rd and long now for Brunell. The quick strike to Jimmy Smith in his first catch of the season, his 106th of today. 20-yard punt affected by the wind, no question, and so Chicago starts at their own 46. Little flanker screen complete, and it's Ahmad Merritt. And Merritt, who is the fastest of the Bear receivers, is down at the 41-yard line of Jacksonville with a first down. He's here, but really a surprisingly good weather day in Chicago. Temperature in the mid-30s as Anthony Thomas stacked up, the rookie from Michigan, at the 40-yard line after a gain of 1. At right tackle, number 71, James Big Cat Williams. Great story for Chicago in his 11th season, finally to his first Pro Bowl. Played at Cheney State, a free agent. Mike Ditka was the coach of the Bears when they drafted him or selected him as a free agent as a defensive lineman. And Williams then converted the next year. Dick Stanfill was the offensive line coach in Chicago at the time, and now here he is going to the Pro Bowl. And the teammates gave a loud cheer when that was announced.
Take a lot of the credit for the Bears' number 3 run defense. They're so big, but Brian Urlacher's talked about the fact that they're so mobile.
Brunell in trouble, gets rid of it. Go on, Bonnie.
The one thing that he also talked about, though, Dick, and it's one of those nuances of the game that you tend not to think about, he said, and I'm quoting here, he said, Ted's rear end is so big that I really have to get up on my tippy toes before the snap just to see where the running back's going.
Well, that is a wide body. Washington and Traylor between them, at least 700 pounds. They're kind of what the Ravens did with Syracuse and Adams. They make it tough to run inside.
When you have a great talent at middle linebacker, you aid yourself tremendously by keeping blockers off of him, letting him make the play.
Stacey Mack out to the 25-yard line and a gain of 5. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Mike Green to make the stop for Chicago.
It's just exactly what Baltimore does because of Ray Lewis in the middle. If you can keep him free, he's going to make the play regardless of whether it's up the middle or it's towards the sideline. And Brian Urlacher is even faster than Ray Lewis, if you can believe that. So you do everything to keep the big guards and the tackles off of him, give him a free run to the ball carrier because he makes good decisions. He doesn't go upfield too soon. He doesn't go too flat. Brian Urlacher, a real instinct to the ball carrier.
On 3rd and 5, the beef out of the middle of that defensive line as Brunell throws as expected and picks up the first down to Jimmy Smith. Smith with his second catch. His dad played at Jackson State, as did Jimmy himself, and his dad was there before Walter Payton played, and he has great admiration for the phenomenal star of the Chicago Bears.
Well, it's such a wonderful story. Jimmy Smith, 3 surgeries again this offseason with some real intestinal and abdominal problems, lost 20 pounds, and to come back and make the Pro Bowl once again, one of the really good feel-good stories of this NFL season.
Give to Mack, and Mack finds some running room at the 40, breaks a tackle, and he's across midfield to the 48-yard line before Warwick Holdman can stop. A fine gain for Jacksonville.
Well, Stacey Mack had 3 100-yard plus games coming into this one, but this is just outstanding blocking at the point of attack. Kyle Brady really gets a good block, and he take a look at it downfield. Jimmy Smith and Brian Urlacher is tied up, and that's why you try to keep your middle linebacker free. Urlacher, I don't think ever even saw Stacey Mack go by him.
Tony Parrish, he slipped out of his tackle attempt. 20-yard gain for Mack and a first down. Jacksonville at the 48. Mack again, nothing there. He loses a yard this time. Washington and Traylor choose sides, and we choose to go to New York.
I'm glad you did. Conditions deteriorating in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers tie it behind Fuamatu Ma'afala. 7-7. Browns and Steelers. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
Right. Emmy Award winning on that work there, Jim.
Yeah, he only wanted to do that so he could say Fuamatu Ma'afala.
That is.
You notice everybody shies away from his first name because nobody wants to get caught up in it.
Chris, that's tough.
Oh, that's the tongue tie. That's tough. Who wants to do that?
Brunell, a fine throw to McCardell, tackled at the 39. They're going to give him closer to the 38. That might be worthy of a measurement. We'll see where they spot it.
Well, this is a timing pass where Mark Brunell is throwing the ball to a space, to a very precise spot, and he's counting on Keenan McCardell to get a good enough release and run a precise route. That's when you've got a combo that's been together for a long time. Patterns like that are relatively easy to run, and it looks like they've got it.
First down for the Jaguars, and a reminder, the best NFL coverage on the net, including expert analysis and live scoreboards. It's there for you. CBS.sportsline.com or America Online keyword CBS Sportsline. Well, when we asked Jimmy Smith about what has thrilled him most about his great success, he said it's because McCardell and myself, we've had 4 seasons where each of us has gained 1,000 yards receiving. He said he feels that's the top accomplishment. It is quite a tandem. From the 38. Brunell, and that may have been deflected as it flops short, intended for McCardell. Philip Daniels, number 93, was in the path.
Well, let's take a look at this. Mark Brunell this time working to his left, and yep, very clearly Philip Daniels elevates, and he wasn't anywhere near Mark Brunell, but like all defensive linemen are taught, you elevate, you get the arms up in the air. But that takes some eye-hand coordination. There's more to it than just standing there like some sort of a scarecrow. That's good work to block a pass like that.
Second down, Brunell to the sideline, incomplete. Jimmy Smith, the intended receiver. Tough throw. Anything outside the hash marks with the wind tends to carry it away.
Well, Jimmy Smith, I think, thought he was going to come up with a big play. There he is right at the top, and he's right in the zone right there. He's right between the corner, McQuarters, who's playing close, and he's expecting the ball. He was wanting the ball a little bit before it got there. If that was a little better time, you'd have had a completion.
Third down and 10. Mack with Brunell, shotgun. Crowd making it tough for Brunell to change his call. Gets it off in time. Down the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Keenan McCardell. And Jerry Azuma there to knock it away. Really mistake-free. Only 10 picks all season long. They protected him well. 16 sacks is the total. Burrowing straight ahead goes Anthony Thomas, the fine rookie from the University of Michigan, carrying his 230 pounds. In Soldier Field, they're going to renovate it. It'll be closed next year and should be ready by the 2003 season. Actually, less seats. It'll be 61,500, about 5,000 seats less than the current configuration.
Well, keep in mind when Soldier Field originally opened back in the 20s, you could get over 100,000 people in this structure, and it's it is a huge. This place has a huge footprint.
It surely does, and some great history. Incomplete, juggling attempt by Marty Booker over the middle. Yeah, the stadium used to go all the way down where the north bleachers are now. It went another whole football field to the north. And here's an idea of the architectural drawings of after they move everything around. They'll have certainly an ultra-modern, state-of-the-art theater for football. It'll cost over $600 million. It will include a 250-foot-long granite wall that will honor military veterans. It'll be open 365 days a year for visitation by fans around the world. Third down and 5. Miller hit as he throws. It's almost intercepted. It went right into the arms of one of the big linemen, 96 Jaguars.
A reversal of what we thought and what we expected.
Brunell to throw. Down the middle, incomplete. Jimmy Smith had it but couldn't pull it in. And in fact, Brunell and Jacksonville outgaining the Bears total yards 81-70, but that's nothing new for Chicago.
Well, he's getting good protection right there, and actually a very well thrown low to Jimmy Smith, but Jimmy Smith 99 out of 100 times comes up with that catch. And Mark Brunell expressing a little frustration, and he's got a right to be. He's had some drop passes here that would have put Jacksonville in the lead.
On 2nd and 10, it's Mack. And Phillip Daniels and Traylor in Washington say no way. Just to finish the point on the Bears, have been outgained this year in 11 of the 15 games, and yet they're 12-3, and that shows you that they don't mind being close at the end.
Well, and he also talked about the fact that, yes, they have given up the least number of points in the NFL, but as far as yardage, they're the number 15 defense in the NFL. They give up yards, they just don't give up points. Now, points is what wins and loses football games, so make no mistake about which of the two is more important.
And Jerron emphatically made that point to us. Number 3 as Brian Urlacher able to log his 6th sack of the season.
Well, this is just the middle linebacker right up the middle. All the blockers are accounted for. The big guys are occupying people, and Brian Urlacher has a free run. Look at him, he loops right in behind Phillip Daniels, who crashes to the inside, takes a couple guys with him. See, that's where the teamwork sets up one guy's glory.
His shoes are claws. I mean, he is into the Bear spirit. First down from the 46 Chicago. Running room for Thomas, and he's into Jacksonville territory, hit at the 48.
Well, there are his you can't call those shoes, I guess, but he is dressed for, hey, you know what, the Bear spirit has, they've been with this team through thick and thin, and there's been a lot of thin lately.
They're out of hibernation.
Oh yeah, this is a team that hasn't won since '95 when they were 9-7. A lot of 4-12s and 6-10s and 5-11s in there. This town is on fire. They have rekindled their love with the Bears.
Thomas, one of the reasons is he runs through a tackle. And finally written down at the 42 of the first town, and they love the rookie, the A-Train from Michigan.
Well, the A-Train that time had the locomotive out front. Watch this collision between Ainsley Battles, number 26, and the A-Train right there. Battles does not know that he was right in the middle of the tracks, and the A-Train just ran right over him. That's as good a look at a running back delivering the blow rather than receiving the blow as you will ever see.
Right back to Thomas, and he's backed up at the 40-yard line. We talked with this young man from Michigan out of Louisiana, where he said, and he admitted with a smile, he said, I was always a mama's boy. I used to do the cooking and cleaning and all that. And I still have, my mother lives with me here in Chicago with my wife and daughter. And when we ask him, well, then who does the cooking now? You got your mother, you got your wife.
Let's just put it this way. Anthony right now is living the good life.
he used football terminology. He said, it depends on the option.
And he's obviously married to a good woman who enjoys having his mother live with them. I think things right now are going very well for Mr. Tom.
Miller, former Michigan State Spartan, to Marty Booker. And Booker near another first down at the Jacksonville 33. Milwaukee Thomas with the stop. Booker, the leading receiver for the Bears this year. That's his first catch, gives him 95 for the season. That's a Chicago Bear record. He broke the old mark Johnny Morris, who caught 93, but that was back in a 14-game season, 64. There's Johnny Morris. Ingram had 88. Robinson injured this year with 84.
Yeah, the loss of Marcus Robinson has really hurt the Bears, but they've compensated obviously in the one-loss column. But Marcus only played 5 games for the Bears this year, and boy, he would really help balance things out in this passing game for Jim Miller.
It's 3rd and 1, and Leon Johnson, the third down back for the Bears, able to battle through that hole at right guard for a first down. Darius there for the stop.
Well, he got outstanding blocking over on the right side of the line. And of course, you got a couple Pro Bowlers there with Olin Kreutz at center and Valerial at right guard, and then Big Cat at the right tackle. But look at the surge right here. Damian Shelton, the fullback, gets up there and gets a nice kick out on Ronaldo Wynn. That's the way you like to see that surge on short yardage. That's the way the Bears come off the ball.
There's Kreutz, who grew up in Hawaii and will go to Honolulu and play the Pro Bowl on the same field where he used to work as a high school athlete. Little swing out and incomplete to Fred Baxter, the tight end. Very short yardage at the 31. In fact, he'll lose a yard. Eric Westmoreland made the stop. We go down to B square.
Well, Dick, one of the things the Bears have been criticized for is exactly what we're seeing a lot from their offense, that dink and dunk game, the short passing game, not enough vertical passing. And Jim Miller said, you know what, the only numbers that matter are wins and losses. And he said, perfect example, when we won at Minnesota, I passed for 97 yards. Nobody remembers that. What they remember is that we won. If we stay within ourselves, keep down the turnovers, keep down the penalties, we'll find a way to win.
And the formula has been just that, a winning system. On second down and 11, Thomas draws a Jacksonville crowd. And we remind you that on Thursday night, the finals, Survivor, will it be Big Tom, Lex, Ethan, or Kim J? Find out who will be voted the ultimate Africa Survivor. It all begins at 8, 7 Central, Thursday here on CBS. Bears 0 for 4 as we come up to a third down and call it 8. Miller in his 8th season, but his first as a full-time starter. 11-2 this year. He fires to the sideline, and there again the wind really carrying the ball away from the intended receiver.
Yeah, that's one of those deals throwing into the wind where it gets under the football and then the ball kind of takes off on you, because Marty Booker was wide open. He was getting all sorts of cushion over there. You can see there was so much wind it actually blew up our picture. But Marty Booker is wide open. He's got a lot of field to work with, but that ball gets up against the wind, and it's like the wing of an airplane. Whoosh, there it goes up into the air.
This would be a 45-yard field goal attempt, but into the wind. Dick Duran, the coach, elects to go for it on 4th down and 8.
And he's right. This is a smart call. That's well out of field goal range.
Miller shotgun. Plenty of time. Down the middle. Complete at the 12-yard line to Booker. First down, Chicago.
Well, that ball straight down the field. That baby was thrown with such a tight spiral. That thing didn't get a chance to float on him. Look at that laser right in on the 8 and the 6 of Marty Booker. What a fabulous pass. Donovan Darius right there delivers the big hit, but a perfect throw from Jim Miller. I mean, opinions on things.
26 interceptions in his NFL career with Detroit and Cincinnati. It's first down at the 11-yard line for Chicago, and the give is to the A-Train, plowing going forward to the 3-yard line. Finally stopped by Battles and Darius, the two Jacksonville safeties.
Oh, what a block by Valerio and Williams. Watch the opening here as they come down with a double team. Look at this thing right here. Tucker with the kick out, and Fred Baxter doesn't even know who to block. He comes through the hole and there's nobody there. Wow, that's... Well, the A-Train will take that kind of blocking. I think he'd rather be out on the field right now, though. I think he'd like a chance to stuff this one in.
And now Leon Johnson comes in on 2nd down and a long one, and Johnson into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, my big guys beat your big guys. That's what Dick Duran can say right now to Tom Coughlin. Look at that surge by the Chicago Bears as all the white jerseys on that side of the football are either on the ground or back in the end zone. That's good, outstanding power football down on the goal. I'd love to be there.
You'd pay for the admission.
Isn't that the truth?
Brunell trying to get something going. No, it's intercepted. It's Azuma, and Jerry Azuma with his first interception of the season for Chicago, and he's going to keep the pumpkin.
And why not? Because look what he's done. The Bears are already up 10-0. They're in Jacksonville territory. The Bears have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And Mike Singletary, yeah, Mike, you got to like this. Defense coming up with a turnover. Azuma just, I don't know what route Keenan McCardell was running. He makes contact with Azuma and then just kind of sits right behind him. Jimmy Smith off on the left-hand side. Boy, that was it's just like the Bears are sitting all over the routes, and McCardell was not able to come close to getting open.
Azuma played his college ball at New Hampshire, and his first career NFL interception has this crowd abuzz now, trying to add to the 10-0 lead with 1:02 remaining in this first half, and snow flurries fall, and so does Miller as he takes on a big rush from Ainsley Battles on a safety blitz.
Well, defensive coordinator Gary Moeller comes with the blitz. He said, I've got to stop this, and it's a great call on his part. Tony Brackens drops back on the zone blitz, and in comes Battles. You've down 10-0. You've got to take a few chances now defensively for the Jags.
And a false start as Brockermeyer at left tackle leaned back from his stance.
You got nothing to lose. You're 6-9. You're not in the playoff picture anyway. You got to come after the Bears.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Just a reminder that Chicago has all 3 of its timeouts as Gary Moeller, the coordinator for Jacksonville, former head coach at the University of Michigan.
And most recently was the defensive coordinator and then head coach of the Detroit Lions. And he actually ended up here at Jacksonville because their defensive coordinator at the time, Dom Capers, is the new coach of the Houston entry in the National Football League. So Gary Moeller knows his football.
On 2nd and 15, the throw complete to Gates. And Dwayne Bates from Northwestern has another catch. Grew up a Bear fan because he grew up in Aiken, South Carolina, and all Bear fans know who grew up there as well. William the Refrigerator Perry.
CBS Monday, Doug falls for another woman's cooking.
Just one more kiss.
The King of Queens. Then it's Yes Dear Secrets to Marital Bliss.
I apologize for everything I've done, and the fight is over.
But you lose.
We're men. We always lose.
And get ready for the funniest Raymond yet.
We're married. It's a two-way street.
No, it's not.
Then Becker's patient wrongly thought he was dying.
I maxed out my credit cards and cursed out my wife. You may have to come to grips with the fact that you're going to live.
A brand new Becker. Catch all new episodes CBS Monday.
Back in Chicago with 51 seconds left before halftime, and at the half, the Nextel report coming up with Jim, Mike, Randy, Jerry, all the scores. A look at that Jets-Oakland matchup later, and all the top plays of the early games. First timeout spent by Chicago and Jim Miller, and it brings up 3rd down now, and a dozen from the Jacksonville 45. They pick up the blitz, the throw complete. And it's Bates again down to the 25-yard line. Brackens with pressure on Miller, but an accurate throw by the Bear quarterback.
Well, it sure was. I think Jason Kraft was the corner in coverage that time. He knew they were blitz. He knew he had to be tight, but yet he still allowed the completion.
Miller again complete. This time to the rookie David Terrell, the #1 pick of the Bears out of the University of Michigan. He's had 32 grabs this year, and timeout called by Chicago. They have 1 left and 24 seconds to add to that 10-0 lead.
Let's go back to the play before, and again, there's Kraft, number 29, leaves an awfully big cushion, loses his footing a little bit, and Bates a lot of room to work in front of him. When you've got a blitz coming, you've got to tighten up your coverage. You don't have the luxury of playing that soft cushion, because you know chances are the receiver is going to break off his pattern because of the blitz if he reads it properly.
And for Bates, he's really stepped in with the injury to Des White the last 2 weeks. Had 4 catches and a touchdown against the Lions last week, and 4 more receptions and 50 yards today. And a first down, actually second down and 2 at the 23-yard line. 24 seconds showing.
You can see Jim Miller not only telling his teammates in the offensive huddle what play they're going to run, but their instructions on what to do afterwards, whether he'll use that timeout or whether he'll try to get them to the line of scrimmage for a spike.
Lopes flips it into the flat. Well done to James Allen, the running back, 10, and knocked out of bounds at the 5 with 16 seconds left.
And more importantly, he got out of bounds, and they still have their timeout at their disposal. See, Jim Miller for a minute, I think, thinks about trying to run out of there. Great protection, but then he sees his receiver out there wide open. And James Allen again makes Ainsley Battles miss and gets to the sideline and gets out. That was just superior work by James Allen. And again, a good look at how this Chicago Bear offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. Jim Miller had all day.
First and goal from the 5. Baxter, the tight end, in motion. Miller off play fake.
Look at this.
All day, and now has to throw it incomplete to Baxter, and he threw it in a position where only Baxter had a chance. Jason Kraft, the defender, had no way to pick it off.
That's one of those deals, Dick, where you have all day, but you don't have all day.
What do I do?
This line is giving you outstanding protection, but the clock is ticking, so Jim Miller knows he can't wait any longer. He's got to do something with the football. I'm not so sure they couldn't have used all 20 seconds with him just standing there in the pocket. That was he had the luxury of great blocking, but not the luxury of being able to milk the clock.
10 seconds and 1 timeout left for the Bears. As Chicago dominating this first half. Miller batted down at the line of scrimmage. It appeared to be Brackens who's been harassing the Bears this entire first 30 minutes. He's played a big half. All right, and you're right, Bonnie. The temperature has dipped about 10 degrees in the last half hour. As Miller hands off to the rookie Thomas, who makes it to the 30-yard line. There's one other number that is significant. It's the one on your scoreboard there, 13 for Chicago, to show you how they can win without scoring many points themselves. When they have scored 13 this year, they're 12-0. Now, Dick Geron doesn't ask an awful lot. Just get me 13.
When the Bears have won over the years, whether in the 70s, 60s, 50s, it doesn't make any difference. That was the same formula. That, if ever a formula has followed a franchise through the years, that's the one for the Bears.
On second down, again, Thomas, and he's caught in the backfield. Seth Payne, the 5-year defensive tackle from Cornell, who is one of the players that the Jacksonville Jaguars hope they can keep on this roster. There's going to be some dramatic moves in the offseason because of the salary cap. There's some $26 million above the cap for next year.
Well, and I think that's why Wayne Weaver wants Tom Coughlin to stay with this franchise. He did such a wonderful job of getting this franchise up and started in '95. And the owner of the Jaguars, Wayne Weaver, thinks that Tom Coughlin is the guy to rebuild the franchise as well.
On third down and long, Miller underneath throws to Thomas, and he has the first down. He was able to get by Hardy Nickerson, and Kawaki Thomas able to make the tackle from his cornerback spot.
Well, Hardy Nickerson was there to make the tackle, but chose not to. He appears bewildered. He's right there to make the hit, and then, well, Hardy Nickerson over the course of his career has played better than that. That's not what you expect to see over a guy that's been to 5 different Pro Bowls. But, of course, at the end of his 15th season, and it's cold out there, but you got to deliver a blow. You got to hit the guy.
First down at the 40. Thomas again. 5 more for Anthony A. Train. Got that nickname from Coach Lloyd Carr and his position coach Fred Jackson at Michigan when he was a freshman. One of the better nicknames, I would say, around the league.
Anthony telling us that Lloyd and Fred argue over which one of them. But in that case, in my mind, there's never an argument.
No.
If the head coach says that he came up with a nickname, I think it pretty much ends right there.
I think Mr. Jackson just backs off and nods, yes, coach. Second down and 5. They're going to make him the workhorse, and he's caught by the ankles on the side by Kewauke Thomas on a run blitz. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, the Bears have had the luxury of their offensive line. Where they've had injuries at wide receiver, their offensive line has been together all season. And I think anyone who follows the game of football knows how important that continuity is with an offensive line. And this is where it really starts to show up, where these guys have been together, know one another. The calls are all automatic, and they love to grind it out. And they've got talent, obviously, with 2 Pro Bowlers in Kreutz and Williams.
Empty backfield as Miller with 4 wides. And he's hit from behind and fumbles. McCree with a hit, and Jacksonville recovers. The ball covered by Paul Spicer, the defensive end, as Marlon McCree, an extra safety, came in, an extra defensive back against that 5 wideout set, and he delivers a blind blow and forces the first Bear turnover.
Here he is right on the end of line of scrimmage, totally unaccounted for. Jim Miller, I don't know if he was expecting someone from the backside to seal it off, but this is a big hit. And when Jim Miller went off the field, you could see that he was not looking so hot. And it was a good job by McCree of not spearing with his helmet. He hit with the shoulder. That's the way you're supposed to do it. But Jim Miller, that's not the way it's supposed to be blocked. He obviously was looking for help.
So the Jaguars with an opportunity, trailing 13-0 early here in the 3rd quarter, and out of the shotgun, Brunell with Brady, the tight end, in motion. He looks, throws long, has Smith down there, and it is almost intercepted as Smith went up with a battle. R.W. McQuarters, who's just signed a big long-term contract to stay in Chicago.
Well, he was forced to throw it right into double coverage. McQuarters is underneath, but you see over the top safety, Tony Parrish gets there as well. But, Mark Brunell's got to take a chance. He sees that Smith is over the top, but the ball, hung up in the wind a little bit. You could see he had to stop, come back to it a touch, and it allowed to play.
Over the middle, complete to McCardell at the 21. And he's inside the 20, hit by Urlacher at the 19. Urlacher, the leading tackler for the Bears, with 143 as his 6th sack today, 3 interceptions and a touchdown on a fake field goal, and another on a 90-yard fumble return against Atlanta. He has been productive, and that's why he again will visit Honolulu in the Pro Bowl.
And barring some injury that would in some way inhibit his skills, he's going to be going to Honolulu every year for a long time.
First down, Jacksonville. They trail 13-0. The screen is intercepted. Big Keith Traylor. Look at him rumble. 40, 50. Watch out. The earth is shaking. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He won't give it up. Oh, my.
Well, I know Chicago already has a refrigerator. Maybe they got room for an ice maker. First of all, watch the athleticism, the one-handed stab by Keith Traylor. And now it's all instinct. He's picking him up. He's laying him down.
71 yards. It must look like 7,100 yards.
Oh, can punt returner be next for Keith Traylor?
Look out, refrigerator. You got to be worried now.
Oh, and look at him cover up the ball, too. He puts both hands on it like an Ohio State fullback.
First and goal. Oh, this crowd is going crazy in Chicago as Thomas belted by Brackens for no gain. That's worth, maybe we can speed up the video machine for Traylor on this one.
Well, you remember this guy. They're used to their big men rumbling here in Chicago. There's William Perry. Remember that Monday night game against the Packers? The fridge takes it in the end zone. A star is born, and a football goes flat.
It was my pleasure to call the Super Bowl that year, where a refrigerator scored the first Super Bowl touchdown.
But the fridge never hauled off and took one as far as Keith Traylor just did.
Oh no, that was Olympian heroic stuff. Underneath, and a touchdown to the rookie Terrell. Terrell's fourth score of the year.
Well, the Bears turn it over. It looked like Jacksonville was going to get back into this football game, and then Keith Traylor single-handedly puts the Bears in great field position on the crossing pattern. Miller to Terrell, and now the Bears firmly in control. More popular shoulders in this
The drinks will be for Traylor tonight in Chicago. As Brunell fires underneath and complete across the 41 to McCardell, and a first down. Let's go back to Traylor.
Well, after every play for the rest of the game, we're going to go back and watch this.
Look at the eyes.
I think it's going to come a time here where he's going to think about lateraling. Right there, I think. He thought about giving it up, but then like a 747 coming in for a landing, he dropped the flaps and started to slow down.
Hand off to Stacy Mack, and Mack out to the 49-yard line, a pickup of 8 yards. Back to Traylor.
Well, watch at the very end of he's slowing down. Look at it, Mike Brown's trying to push him and shove him. He was on a full slowdown there by the time he finally stopped.
It's his second career interception. He came in as a rookie with Denver as a linebacker, and quickly with his beat became a lineman. Brunell knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That's the third batted ball today. Brian Robinson gets his second.
What's really funny here, look at the very end of this. Watch Keith's eyes. Watch this. It's one of these, did I just do that?
Oh my, that was wonderful stuff.
Did that really just happen? Keith Traylor, by the way, still over on the sidelines, getting a bit of a respite here as the Bear defense goes on without him.
Cardiovascular help over there. Third down and 2 for Brunell. And Jacksonville trailing 20-0. 8.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Mack has the first down and more to the Bear 44-yard line. Let's go down to B squared.
Well, guys, if you thought Traylor's eyes were big when he was running the pick back, they were practically rolling back in his head on the sideline. I don't know that he could have run faster enough to the oxygen. The only thing that was blocking him was that every single one of his teammates was trying to get to him to pat him on the head or give him a high five. And for a good 5-10 minutes or so now, on and off, we keep hearing the fans behind him going, Traylor, Traylor.
Yeah, the pass complete to Jimmy Smith, and that appears to be another first down. Well, here's another statistic for you. Rushing today, Traylor 64, Jacksonville, or at that 67, Jacksonville 64. Oh. So the big guy's got 3 more yards than the rushing total for the Jaguars.
If it's not bad enough that it's 20-0, now they're being outrushed by a defensive tackle.
Well, it's an old cliche in sportscasting, a lineman's dream, but boy, that was the full big dream come true.
That's good for him. You think that'll make a few highlights?
Wow, big hole for Mack. And he's down to the 15-yard line and a gain of 17 more.
I think, Dick, the celebration has been continuing here for so long about Keith Traylor that all of a sudden everybody in this stadium is beginning to realize that Jacksonville is in scoring territory. And a little of the luster that's going to be gone in a hurry if the Jags stick this in.
They were first and goal early in the game at the 8-yard line and misfired on a couple of passes, then a sack and a block field goal by Chicago. Here comes the blitz. Brunell steps aside, throws to the end zone. Touchdown to Keenan McCardell, his 6th of the season. A part of Chicago Bears lore, Keith Traylor's interception run. And it's Anthony Thomas barreling off tackle and now is within a yard, actually now tied for the all-time rookie rushing mark with the Chicago Bears. Rashaan Salaam with 1,074 yards in 95, and Thomas has equaled that with that carry, so he'll be the new standard bearer for rushing by a rookie. One of 3 in history in Chicago rookies to run for 1,000. Beatty Feathers, old timers will remember, in 1934 was the first. And this should do it. And so with that run, he's past the 1,074 yards of Salaam in his rookie season 6 years ago.
I wonder what percentage of our viewing audience remembers Beatty Feathers cranking out that 1,000.
I remember the name.
However many he had.
Well, you know, but it was nice when they were introducing the Bears of old that some of those that very few here might have seen play, they still gave them a rousing cheer.
That's because they played for the Bears.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
And the Papa Bear. On 3rd down and 3, Miller has the first down to Booker and out of bounds at the 47. Ainsley battles the defender. Tonight on 60 Minutes, while security experts are reasonably certain they can protect the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City from terror attacks, they tell 60 Minutes tonight they're not too sure they can say the same when the Summer Olympics are held in Athens, Greece, 2.5 years from now. That's tonight on 60 Minutes.
Boy, that was a beautiful pickup by Dick John's team of reading the blitz. The line picks up the stunt inside. Booker breaks off his route to the outside. Miller delivers a perfect strike. This is just the way you like your team to play heading into the playoffs.
Stanley Pritchett now at fullback for Thomas, who runs through a big hole, and he's on his way. If he can break this tackle down to the 19-yard line, finally dragged by Jason Kraft and Kawaki Thomas.
That was terrible. Traylor could have scored with that. Thomas ought to be embarrassed. Traylor would have taken that one all the way to the end zone.
Well, he was looking to lateral, but he couldn't find him.
Look at this blocking on the right side. Boy, look at that block by Big Cat Williams. Again, Valerio Kreutz. And the A-Train, you give him a crease like that, and he's gone. Boy, that was, this has been a stellar day for this Chicago offensive line.
You saw his totals, 89 yards now for Anthony Thomas. First down at the 20. Back to A-Train. He has a first and goal at the 8. 12 more yards before Battles and Thomas can stop him.
This is what we call a statement drive. Stanley Pritchett, the fullback, comes across the formation, 36. But again, it's the down block. The Brockermeyer comes up with a big one. Doggins comes up with it. This is, boy, it's fun to be an offensive lineman when things are going like this. And talk about a statement drive. That's what we're looking at right now by the Chicago Bears.
Well, it appears they'll certainly have a bye the first week. We know that, and they're looking for more should the Rams be upset by. Oh, Atlanta, talk about an upset. Look at that hit by Gary Walker as he runs head on full speed. They'll try to preserve the historic nature of this grand old arena for sports, not only football, but heavyweight championship boxing. Brunell is wide to McCardell, and we make the throw to Jim Nantz in New York.
Well, thank you, Dick. Again, the Patriots with a win claim the AFC East. This is Troy Brown for New England. They're leading by 7. He had earlier set the single-season mark for the Patriots. Most receptions in a year, 98. He breaks the game open a little bit with a 68-yard punt return. Panthers have just kicked the field goal. Patriots up 11. Dick, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, Jim. And certainly the Patriots and the Bears providing us with 2 really incredible stories, long shot stories this year. Brunell, a middle screen. It's batted in the air and intercepted. It's Rosie Colvin, the linebacker, cut down at the 25-yard line. Todd Forum saved a possible touchdown.
I remember when we talked to Big Cat Williams, he was saying, you know what, we've been through so many losing years. Finally, the bounces are starting to go our way. And haven't we seen that be the case here this afternoon? And this is an excellent illustration right here. The ball right into the hands of Stacey Mack. He just doesn't look it in, bounces right up in the air, and Colvin makes the play. But again, Mark Brunell puts the ball right where it's supposed to be.
The Bears have 1st and 10. And the Jacksonville.
That was the play before, and you see Mark Brunell in frustration swinging his hand around, hits the face mask of Philip Daniels.
Pritchett in motion, and it's to Thomas. And he'll be carrying the load, not much there. And you talk about the bounce of the ball. It had to hit Boone's helmet for it to bounce to the Bears' Colvin for the interception. It's those kinds of things that happen when things are going right.
And you know, Traylor makes a one-handed stab and an interception where he runs it back for the big return, 67 yards? That's, you know, Big Cat, he was he said, look, all those years we're losing teams don't get those bounces. You know, it's the old chicken and the egg theory. I'm not sure which came first.
You make your own breaks, but sometimes you wonder, how in the world did we get that lucky?
Yep. Well, and look, you know, Mike Brown, look, he's had a couple come his way this season for the Bears.
There's been some miracles working here in Chicago all season. Thomas, such a good pick out of Michigan, wasn't he? They love him here. Hardy Nickerson makes the stop down at the 12-yard line. Interception. Anthony Thomas at tailback. To Thomas. And he gains a yard. Hardy Nickerson filling the hole for Jacksonville. Who would you pick as this year's NFL MVP? Falk, Favre, Gannon, Garcia, Cordell, Kurt Warner, or someone else? Just log on, cast your vote at NFL.com.
Well, a lot of pressure now being put on this Jacksonville defense, which has just been decimated by injury. Their second and third leading tacklers are on the injured reserve. Aaron Beasley's not playing. Fernando Bryant. On and on and on.
Underneath, there's one of those bounces. Goes right to the Bears. And a completion down at the 7-yard line. Nickerson trying to get his hands in there. Fans down that southern end creating as much noise as they can for Brunell in the end zone. Batted down. That's number 4, and the third by Brian Robinson. He's played like a big postman. Maybe did play a little college bowl out there at College of the Desert at Palm Desert, California before he went to Fresno State.
He's getting up in the air like David Robinson, not Brian. Mark Brunell just trying to make something happen, and you know, not getting much of a pass rush at all. Pretty much, you know, standing right on the goal line. That's what you got to do, though.
Robinson playing taller than 6'4". Over the middle, complete to McCardell, who has been the leading receiver in this game. Warwick Holdman made the tackle after McCardell's 7th catch. That gives him 91 for the year.
Well, as good as this Bear defensive unit is, the Jags are happy they're not playing against some of the guys that were here out on the field at halftime. Richard Dent, Steve McMichael, Mike Singletary, Dave Duerson, Gary Fensick. They were a lot of all-stars out there.
That Ditka defense, that 46 defense of that Super Bowl team.
Otis Wilson was there.
On third down, Brunell. A lot of time. Now it breaks down, and he throws it in the air, incomplete. They're going to penalize him for it. No flag yet, as Stacey Mack was in the area. Feeling here in Chicago at the moment. It's 26-6, and the Bears have the ball at the Jacksonville 40. Give it to the rookie Thomas.
Boy, Jacksonville has been getting more than their fair share of the A train. It has been a busy day. Watch the blow he delivers. This was in the first half. Ainsley Battles goes over backwards. Sometimes he's made his own yards, sometimes like this, huge holes by his offensive line, and he's been involved in the passing game as well as Jim Miller gets him the ball. But the A-Train and this Bear offense have been chugging along here. right on through Jacksonville, and they didn't even stop at the station in Jacksonville. They're going right on through town.
Second down is short. 4, a long 3. Quick pitch out to Booker. That is his 100th catch of the season. Marty Booker.
He almost went into the heater right there on the sidelines. That would not have been good.
Now the fans cheer as the public address announcer notes that Booker now is the first Bear ever to catch 100 balls. 8 touchdowns this year for this third-year receiver out of Northeast Louisiana.
Well, I know this is a new era in the National Football League where it's much easier to pass the ball and the numbers get bigger and bigger. But 100 receptions in a season is still a benchmark. Until they decide that you can't tackle or do anything to a receiver, 100 catches in a year is still an awfully big year.
3rd and 1, and Thomas hammered as he hits the line at the 30. It'll be close to a first. Thomas has blockers. 15, 10, out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Saving the touchdown was Ainsley Battles.
Well, Battles at least got a chance to come back and hit the A train. Now this is just awesome blocking. This is enough to warm the heart of an old offensive lineman. Look how everything is sealed back to the inside. Fred Baxter comes through. Stanley Pritchett gets a lead block on the outside. Look at Baxter there, 84, sealing it off. There's Pritchett. And Ainsley Battles, who was crushed by the A-train in the first half, at least gets a little bit of a payback as he's able to deliver a pretty good shot on him there.
Yeah, the rail transportation in this city, the L, but boy, they got a new train, the A-train from Michigan, and this young rookie looks like he's really something special and built for just the style of play that Chicago loves to throw at an opposition, especially as the weather gets colder in December and into January.
Well, as you hit it, Dick, you've got to be able to run the football in the playoffs. You've got to be able to defend the run in the playoffs. And I know people think about the Rams and everybody thinks they're the favorites to win it all. And you think of that passing game. The Rams run the football awfully well too. You know, they're a good run blocking line. Marshall Faulk will crank off a lot of yards on the ground, and they defend the run well too. So it's you've got to be able to do it if you're going to compete in the playoffs.
Thomas looking for a touchdown, gets 3 yards down to the 2.
Well, what the Bears are doing here today is by beating Jacksonville, they are forcing the Rams this afternoon to beat Atlanta. And that's a game that'll start in about half an hour or so. But the Rams, I'm sure, have been doing a little scoreboard watching. And with this Chicago win, where the Bears will go to 13-3, they're forcing the Rams to have to win against Atlanta this afternoon, because if they both end up 13-3, the Bears actually hold the tiebreaker advantage over the Rams and would enjoy home field advantage all the way through the playoffs.
Oh, and wouldn't the Bears love to get them on the soggy turf of Soldier Field?
Yes, I think they would love to see Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt have to run around here in January.
On 3rd and goal, Thomas up the middle. Touchdown for the A-train.
Now, what are the chances, you think, of Atlanta being the Rams this afternoon?
About the same as mine going out for a dip in Lake Michigan.
Although Michael Vick, I guess, will quarterback. It'll be interesting.
So Anthony Thomas caps his big day of 145 yards rushing with a touchdown. 40 yards in 7 plays, and Thomas, the all-time rushing rookie to wear the navy blue. And
if they don't want to, and that's a heck of a PR move on the part of the Bears.
Brunell dumps it off, complete, and it's the running back Elvis Joseph out across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
They're going to give a lot of people in downstate Illinois a real opportunity for a season to come and see the Bears play in Champaign, and those that are season ticket holders here at Soldier Field now will still be season ticket holders at the new stadium 2 years from now. I think it's a very good public relations move on the part of the Bears organization. That's a win-win situation.
Absolutely. Back to pass Brunell as fans responding to a Green Bay score. They're not exactly many Packer fans here today at Soldier Field. And a reminder coming up next, the second half of our doubleheader, that Jets-Oakland game. That's good. Really the hinge game to decide who's going to play whom in the playoffs on the AFC side. And Miami still looking for a win that could be important against Buffalo. And Seattle needs a win and some help from Oakland, and they're in the playoffs. And there's the Green Bay score that the Bears fans, they'd rather see the 34 in the Giants have. Brunell throws, and Jimmy Smith just steals it away from the Bear defender and takes it down inside the 25-yard line.
Dick, there are more storylines in that Raider-Jets game coming up in a few minutes than you could squeeze into a 3-hour telecast. That is high drama. And this is highly skilled football on the part of Jimmy Smith. Boy, if he's not one of the best stories of the year, the way he's overcome those surgeries to go back to the Pro Bowl, I don't know what is.
Brunell fires into his tight end, Kyle Brady, a rare catch for the big target from Penn State.
And here in the AFC, that's what things look like. Of course, Pittsburgh had the home field locked up all the way through. New England again. Boy, how can you say enough about the coaching job that Bill Belichick has done with the Patriots? The Raiders, that remains to be seen. And, of course, Seattle, their game has impact on a whole bunch of folks.
Little short pass to Jimmy Smith, who adds to his total. He now has his 110th catch of the season. On second down, Brunell looking for a cosmetic score here in the fourth quarter. Pumps, fires. McCardell, another catch, and he pays for it at the 8-yard line. Hit hard by R.W. McQuarters, and a little extra after. Some of the big linemen, specifically Mo Williams, coming down to protect his little guy.
Well, Mo Williams having a little bit of a reunion here today as Anthony Thomas, the A-Train, and of course David Terrell, the wide receiver, all teammates of Maurice Williams at the University of Michigan, and said he was looking forward to seeing the guys this weekend and wishing them well. All of them rookies this year, and all of them having banner seasons.
On third down and 6. He goes down, and there's another Chicago Bears sack as Alfonso Boone in to make the play. A flag is down beyond the line of scrimmage. Unstoppable. He flies it for Smith, and a touchdown, Jacksonville. Perfectly thrown by Brunell to Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, you could see the official on the spot saying that he landed out of bounds, but he was pushed out of bounds.
They'll try to run out the clock as best they can. Dustin Lyman, a third-string tight end in there. Anthony Thomas gets still another carry, and we'll go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, we've seen what Anthony Thomas can do, and you have to wonder how the heck did this kid make it all the way to the second round? Well, Dick Duran seems to think nobody realized what kind of speed the A-Train has. He said we didn't, and for that matter, we didn't realize what his work ethic was like. He said Anthony doesn't talk a lot. What he does do a lot is practice, and he doesn't particularly care that he's got 1,000 yards rushing in his rookie season, but he does really care that his team's winning, and they're about to win the NFC Central.
All right, thanks, Bonnie. There's a difference between in shorts running speed and running with the pads, Dan.
Well, and let's run this play, and yeah, I want to elaborate on that a little bit.
Back to Thomas.
There are a lot of players that have two speeds. One is when they're timed in the shorts and the T-shirts, and then there's the speed when they put on their pads, and they're considerably slower. And then there are players like Anthony Thomas who runs the same whether he's in shorts or whether he's got a mud-encrusted uniform dragging somebody with him. And here's a guy, you're right, he does not have blazing speed. He's not one of those guys that went to the combine and had everybody oohing and eyeing after he ran a 40. But the fact of the matter is, the 40 yards from here to the end zone, he runs at the same speed on this field wearing this equipment as he does in the shorts and a T-shirt.
3rd and 4. Give it back to Thomas. First down and more. Carrying tacklers down to the 28-yard line. Ainsley Battles finally rode him down. Walter would be because of the salary cap problems. He's one of those that probably will be playing elsewhere as an unrestricted free agent. Jacksonville's used all its timeouts. Leon Johnson carries down short of the first down, and the Jaguars will take over on downs.
Brought down by 17.
Last time these teams played, Mike Ditka was on the sidelines. That was 1990, 11 years ago. And last time they won a division title, rather. And the Bears, led by Jim Harbaugh and Neil Anderson, performed for Mike Ditka, the Danimal, Dan Hampton, one of the defensive stars, as they posted an 11-5 record that year for Coach Ditka and won the NFC Central. And now here, 2001, 11 years later, they once again are the champions. Welcome to Chicago. Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Fonnie Bernstein. The Bears have won the NFC Central Division title. Have pummeled Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars, as Mike Green adds still another sack to the total. That's 4 for the Bears today as they run into a 33-13 lead.
And just the blitz right. Mark Brunell has nowhere to go with it. Mark comes up limping. You know, Mark, who's got some tender knees and wears braces, came up and kind of one-footed it back to the Jacksonville huddle.
So 57 sacks of Brunell, and the Jaguars led the league in that department. So with 1:04 left, the Bears fans begin their celebration as Elvis Joseph rattles one out to the 20-yard line, far short of a first down. Oh, a double bucket celebration. They're not going to let Jaron off easily, are they?
Well, let's see if that's who they're going to get. You know, how much does one guy have to freeze? All of a sudden, they've lost their target.
Somebody stop Green.
Somebody said he was over here. You know who? They may be going for one of the coordinators. I don't know. Maybe they're going for Bloss or for Shoup, one of those guys.
Joseph again, the ball carrier. No gain. And the public address announcer orchestrating the cheers of the...
Oh, they just got Greg Bloss, the defensive coordinator.
Well, allowing the least number of points in the league coming into this game, and only 13 today. That defensive coordinator has done a great job.
You don't see coordinators get it very often, but Greg Blash just got it. And like you say, you lead the league with the least number of points. That's worthy of a bet.
Well, Mike Ditka had his buddy Ryan, and Jaron has his lunch.